Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the St. Louis podcast. Of course, I'm Eric Brown, president of iMedia Partner at Mogul Holdings. Today, we got Jennifer Quinn Williams on the podcast. Excited to talk to her. Of course, as always, this is the St. Louis podcast. Each and every Friday at 7 a.m., we drop an episode on all major podcasting, audio, and video platforms. And of course, today, again, we got Jennifer Quinn Williams, owner and founder at St. Louis Closet Company, locally owned small business right at Manchester and Big Ben. I'm sure a majority of us here in St. Louis have driven by it at least once. Started the company in 1991, right after college. St. Louis native, of course, from Kirkwood. Graduated from Kirkwood High School and St. Louis University. Won numerous awards. Recognized as one of St. Louis Business Journal's most popular from the class of 1996. I bet you have that hanging on your wall. All right, so getting into it, I have to know. So you started it when you were 25 years old. We briefly talked about how your dad was a master woodworker. So how did it go into being like, I need to start a closet organization company?
Well, hi, Eric. How are you? Thanks
Good.
for having me.
You're
Okay,
welcome.
so my dad was an entrepreneur. My grandparents were entrepreneurs. So the woodworking part wasn't really the part that got me into the
Mm-hmm.
closet business, but the sort of crazy organizational bug that I had got me into the closet business. I was in grad school at St. Louis University. I was waiting tables at Obie Clark's
Okay. Yep.
and Harry's Bar and Grill on
Mm-hmm.
Kings Highway and Mike Duffy's in Kirkwood. I had 3 waitressing jobs. And a friend of mine moved to St. Louis from California. This was in 1991, and he opened up a custom closet franchise here in St. Louis. And we went out for drinks one night. He's like, Jen, you would love this. Come work for me. So I went to work there. I went through designer training. And literally after 2 weeks, I was like, oh, this is it. Because I was in school for PR and communications.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
you can pretty much ask any communications major, what are you going to do with that? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I had no idea,
Yes,
right?
very true.
I had no idea. So this was it. This was my thing. So I immediately quit working at that custom closet company. I dropped out of grad school and I quit 2 of my 3 waitressing jobs. I kept one just in case I
Which
needed
one did
money.
you keep?
Obie Clark's,
Okay.
of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, my favorite.
Yeah.
And I really had never had a business class. So somebody's like, well, do you have a business plan? And I was like, oh, no.
What's that?
What's that?
Yep.
So I actually took a 1-day class at Florissant Valley. It was put on by the Small Business Administration on how to write a business plan. And I figured all that out. Now, this is pre-Google,
Yep.
pre-internet, right? I mean,
Yeah.
we had libraries, we had telephones,
Encyclopedias.
and we had the Yellow Pages.
Mhm.
That's how I was researching the industry. So I started calling some other closet companies out of state. This was still a really new trend. I mean, people didn't understand what a custom closet was. So I did some research. I visited some other closet companies in Chicago and down in Houston, and then one in DC, and just sort of like got some background,
Mhm.
plus my little bit of design training when I worked at the company in St. Louis. So I wrote a business plan, and I decided I needed $50,000 to start. I was 25. Remember, I was working 3 jobs
Yep.
to pay for tuition, so I did not have money.
Mm-hmm.
I did not have co-signers. My parents weren't paying for it. I didn't have a rich husband. And so I just started knocking on doors at banks, and I got 18 no's. And finally, the Monday before Thanksgiving, this gentleman, his name's Al Jonigan. If he's out there listening, I love this man. He was like on the phone. He said, Jennifer, you know what? It's a slow week. Why don't you come down, bring your stuff? So I packed up my milk crates of
Mhm.
my research, right? That's what we had in college. That's
Yep,
what I
yep,
used.
Yep.
Put them in my Volkswagen Bug that had a rusted out floor pan and had to park. I had to park on a hill so I could pop start it most of the time.
Very
'Cause the
nice.
starter was out.
Yep.
And drove down to the Lindell Boatman's Bank, walked in, carried in my milk crates, sat down. He spent 2 or 3 hours with me. And he's like, this is kind of cool. Like, I've never heard of this. This is a great idea. And I said, well, what do I need to do to get the money?
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, well, we'll have to go to loan committee. I said, it's Thanksgiving. This
Yep.
week's Thanksgiving. I go, I would really love to have something to be thankful for. So he
perfect
called
timing,
me on the day before Thanksgiving on Wednesday at home. And he said, great news. You've been approved for the loan. but you need to come up with 15,000 of the 50. I was like, sure, okay, no problem. Well, that was, I mean, it was like,
Yep.
wouldn't have mattered what he said because I just didn't have any money.
Yeah.
So I went out that weekend and I opened up a bunch of credit cards.
Okay. Nice. Yeah.
And I bought an installation van at Ford, and luckily they were able to finance it
Mm-hmm.
for me. Um, Way back then, there was a store called Venture. It's very similar to Target, but it was owned by
Venture. Interesting.
Venture. It
Okay.
was owned by the May Company, which was Famous Bar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I had a Famous Bar card already. So I was able to open up a Venture card
Very nice.
and buy
Yeah.
all my office supplies, including the electric typewriter. And then I went to Sears and I opened up a credit card at Sears and I bought all the installation tools. So the Monday after Thanksgiving, I went back to the bank, brought in all my receipts, and he's like, "This is not exactly what I was talking about," but I'm like, "Dude, let's go!"
This
Right?
is what I got.
This is what I got, so
Yep.
let's go. So that's how I got started.
That's amazing. So what I'm curious when it comes to like, financing back in the day and hitting on banks, it seems like that process was more personable back then. Was it as like strict as it is now? Because like it goes through underwriting. You can't, really talk to a banker and get a yes or no from them. They have strict, almost guidelines now. It doesn't matter if you have a good idea, bad idea, or whatever. It's just if you don't have the financial means, it's usually going to be a no. And of course you got like small business loans and things like that. But sounds like it was different back then when it
It,
comes to that.
it was. I think it was different. I had a small business administration guaranteed loan. So I
Okay.
think those are still out there and available to really help small businesses get
Mhm.
started. And you don't have to have the down money that you do just out, I think, in the real world.
Yeah, yeah.
The SBA really, really helped me get started, and then helped me along the way. But it was personal. It was, and the bankers at the time, they were more, I think, they had more input.
Yep.
If they liked you, they liked the idea, they felt like it was viable,
Mhm.
they could sort of persuade the, lenders or the SBA or whatever to guarantee the loans. So, but those 18 no's I got, they were they were like, is your dad gonna co-sign? Are you married? Do you have collateral? And I was just like, I didn't even know what collateral meant. I was like,
Right.
I don't even know what that is, but no, I don't have
It's
it.
like I'm leasing and I have nothing in my name. It's
Right.
like, yeah, I can whatever I have in my house, you can have it.
Right. But I mean, today I talked to a lot of high school and college students
Mhm.
about entrepreneurship and starting early. And I think it's 9 out of 10 small businesses fail in the first 5 years.
Yeah.
So it's like start young,
Mhm.
right? Get those failures over while you're young.
100%.
You're willing to take more risks. You have more energy. You're not so tired.
Yep.
Um, and it's like go for it.
I am very happy that we did it in our 20s because I think looking back, it's because now we have a lot that we can do in our 30s, but like if we were to be starting our business now and we would have had like full-time jobs up until now, I mean, we'd be starting almost at square one. And thinking back, I would hate to go back to be 23 years old in my 30s and have to work as hard as we did, really for a long time and really obviously still do. But when it was starting, it was all hands on deck. You got to make sure payroll's met, you're paying people. And it's a struggle at first. And sometimes not getting paid at all for the first couple of years or making very little money, I should say. But starting when you're young, you don't have a family, right? Usually, you don't have a girlfriend or a boyfriend, or maybe you do, but you're not married. So you could take a lot of chances.
Right.
And it's a lot easier to learn that stuff when you're young and you don't have a lot of the responsibilities that you would have when you're older.
Well, absolutely. I mean, I didn't have a husband. I didn't have kids. I didn't have a house payment. I mean, I had
Mhm.
rent. I didn't have a car payment. Hence the old rusted out
Yep.
Volkswagen
Yeah.
Bug.
Yep.
Um, and so you just it and the working around the clock, and it wasn't stressful, right?
Mhm.
I wasn't stressed out about anything. I wasn't worried about losing my house or losing my car or anything like that. And I was able to live on a very reduced salary. I mean, I was literally just telling somebody today that, I think I was paying myself $1,000 a month,
Mhm.
and $12,000 a year.
Yep.
And I'm looking at what college kids are making today when they graduate, and I'm thinking, wow, that's a big change.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it was 34 years ago, but I was able to do that. I mean, I couldn't do that today. right?
No.
You can't do that if you have kids and
Yep.
everything else. So I do remember scraping by a little bit in the beginning because, like you said, payroll comes first.
Mm-hmm.
You got to pay your employees,
Yep.
and then you got to pay your suppliers, or you're
Mm-hmm.
not getting your materials. And you have to show up at the customer's house. So all of that comes before paying yourself.
Yep. Do you when you're talking to young people that want to be entrepreneurs, what are like some of the things? I'm curious. What are some of the things they're saying? Either reasons they don't or reasons they do want to do it.
I think everybody, entrepreneurship looks really glamorous.
It does.
I think it looks from the outside really
Thanks social
glamorous.
media for that.
It is. And I think young people think, oh, I could start a business. And, Bill Gates, we could just start, or, Apple, we can start on our phone.
Yeah.
And actually, I mean, a lot of them can. A lot of them are smart enough that they could come up with an app and build it and sell it and never even leave their house.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't that smart. um, I think that it looks very glamorous. What I try to tell everybody is entrepreneurship is fabulous. I love it. I think it's a challenge every day. You walk in, you don't know what's going to hit you, right? And you're going to
Mm-hmm.
have great days and you're going to have bad days and you're going to have a mix of both all the time. But you have to be okay with the bad days.
Yep.
You have to be okay with taking the risks. You have to be okay not getting a paycheck. And if you're the kind of person who is not going to be able to handle the bad days, entrepreneurship is probably not good for you. Because the good days, sometimes are few and far between. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you work, and you better love working. You better really love working.
Yes.
My daughter's like, "Oh, I had to work this weekend." I'm like, "Oh, okay." Yeah, I worked every single
Welcome to the
weekend,
club. Yeah. Yep.
every night, every weekend. And even today, after 34 years, I have an amazing team of employees. But I'm still, when we're on vacation, when we're at home, this weekend, I had my computer out. And now social media is 24/7. So you're
Yep.
constantly checking that and, looking at that. Um, so I think it looks more glamorous, maybe, than it is. So, what I always try to do is get people to really understand what they're signing up for,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because you don't want to be those 9 businesses that fail.
Yep.
You want to be the one that succeeds in 5 years. And you have to know enough about yourself before you get into it that you know that you're going to be able to, show up every day. Our business is not complicated, but it's a lot of hard work.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of hard work. And people are like, oh, you're so lucky. I'm like, luck has nothing. Luck has nothing to do with this. It's hard work.
Yeah.
I have an amazing team of people. I learned very early on to surround myself by people that are smarter than me and better than me. We have a great product. And I know that this is a little controversial in today's day and age, but the customer is always right.
Mm-hmm.
Because if the customer is not right, even when they're wrong, they're right.
Yep.
Because guess what? They have Google out
Yeah.
there, and you
Yeah.
don't want
Yeah.
you don't want bad reviews.
We don't want a 1-star.
You need repeats and referral business to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have it in today's world. And so you have to be willing to, like I said, show up and lose money
Yeah.
on a job if you need to make the customer happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was when we started West County Insulation, we partnered with one of our buddies, Evan, and he kind of he runs day to day there. And like, so we had already had Vive for like 4 years or 5 years at that point. He comes in and then he's learning all of the shit that we learned up the get go, and we're all like, well, welcome to the club.
Mm-hmm.
Welcome to the club. It's not all glamour. I don't understand the glamour of being a business owner, to be honest. It's a very odd thing because it's like you run your own time, but you work more than a normal person would. For 90% of business owners, probably at least when you're first starting, for sure. Um, you said something interesting about reviews and making sure you're taking care of your clients and getting referrals and things like that. I was just talking to a guy that's selling his business to a private equity group, and they actually told him that his reviews are too good.
Yeah.
So, how the PE group looks at it is your reviews are too good, therefore, you're not essentially taking advantage of your clients to get more money out of them. This
Really?
was an HVAC business.
Really? That's
Yeah.
shocking.
Yeah.
And
It's not
see,
that shocking, but yeah,
well,
it's
yeah.
it's shockingly insane. Yes.
Right. And as a small business owner, like I lose sleep over my reviews. I want them all to be good.
Hmm.
And and we are not perfect all the time. I
Of
mean,
course.
at St. Louis Closet, we make mistakes. But to me, it's about how a company handles the mistakes.
Hmm.
Almost you can have, 90% perfect installations. Everything's great. But when you run into a problem,
It's the one.
how is that company going to handle that problem? And being a consumer and a homeowner myself, we work with people all the time in our house and people make mistakes. And it's the companies who show up and say, I'm sorry and fix the mistake and don't make you feel bad about it. Those are the companies that I will go to bat for all day long,
Yep.
right? Because home improvement, it's a tough business,
Hmm.
right? We've got installers out there, we've got designers out there, and your business, I mean, you're in homes, you're in new homes, you're in existing homes, all kinds of stuff can go on.
Yep.
And you can't control the variable.
Hmm. Just
So
know something eventually is going to happen.
something's going to happen,
Yeah.
right? But is how do you handle that problem is what I think really separates the really good businesses from the bad ones.
Yeah, at West County, actually, we had an issue. I think it was last year where we had our dumpster rental person came and like dropped off the dumpster. It blew hydraulic fluid all over the driveway and then scratched the shit out of the driveway. And they didn't want to take care of it.
Mhm.
So, I think we went back and forth for like a week, and eventually we all just were like, if they're not going to take care of it, we need to, because what are we just going to have them? And we had to pay for literally half of a driveway to get torn up and to literally put a driveway back down in that
Right,
spot.
right.
But otherwise, you'd be those contractors or those people that get talked about on like Deals Gone Bad or anything else on Facebook.
Right.
And there's so many companies that just at the end of the day, the owners don't care and they only make it so long. I think there's a testament to you being in business for so long because if you didn't care, if you didn't do a good job, you probably still wouldn't be here, right?
Right. Right. Well, and it's people know who I am. They
Hmm.
know they know where I live.
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
They're going to come find me if I don't make
Exactly.
them happy. Right? And we're working in their homes, right?
Hmm.
We're working in their closets, in their bedrooms. We're working in their pantries, in their home offices. You know, we have to do a good job. I
Hmm.
mean, we have to protect their homes. And I know we do a lot of new construction, but probably 80% of our business is existing homes.
That's because new homes don't get good closets.
They get wire shelving.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
oh,
know.
I know. I've been working for 34 years.
I can't wait. I can't wait to buy a house for like two reasons: my closet and kitchen.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, two really things that you use every single day.
Yeah.
When you think about it, when you wake up in the morning, where do you go first,
Yep.
right? Maybe the bathroom,
Bathroom first.
and then you go to your closet to get
Yes.
dressed,
Yes.
right? So, I mean, it sort of sets up your whole day.
Hmm.
Um, this is like mental health awareness month, and I'm like, okay, well, how about starting your day off, with an organized closet? You can see your clothes, you can get dressed faster. It's not a, garbled mess of piles of clothes and shoes on the floor.
Yep.
It's decluttered, it's organized, and you just sort of start your day off like that. There's that thing on Instagram now where people who make their bed in the morning are 10 times more likely to become millionaires or something. I was like,
That's right.
and then there's a 5 a.m. club, and I'm like working on the organized closet club, right? I
5
mean,
a.m. clubs. I just can't do it.
you're still young. That's why.
I just, I'm like, I go to bed at like 11 or midnight. I'm not waking up at 5.
Yeah, I get up at like 4:30.
That's just crazy to
Yeah,
me.
and then I walk every day. But I mean, by 8:30, 9 o'clock,
Yeah.
I'm cashed out.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's all, that's all I'm saying. It's like, well, you wake up at 5:30. I just got to go to bed sooner.
Right.
So really, I mean, well, I'm the 11 o'clock club then. If you're
Right.
up at 4:30, it's like, I'll flex on that.
Right.
While you're sleeping, I'm working.
Yeah.
And
Right.
then vice versa in the morning.
Exactly.
I wish I get up early though. I do like the fact that it's like I have ADHD, so the morning is nice. It's like quiet. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of distractions.
And it's funny because like I walk every morning and it's peaceful outside.
Mhm.
Luckily Starbucks opens at 5:30
Yeah.
and I get my coffee and I just keep walking, but nobody like emails don't start coming at you. Literally it's like the clock hits 8 a.m. and here comes the emails. Here
Yep.
comes the text. Here comes so that you have that whole time in the morning where it's physically quiet outside, but it's also quiet on your phone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's something to be said about not picking your phone up immediately when you wake up. I've been working on that.
It's hard.
It is hard.
It's
It's
really hard.
it is. And trying to sleep better without just staring at your phone at night. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like working. I'm like, what am I doing right now? Answering this email at 11 o'clock. I should just go to bed. I'll get to it in the morning.
Yeah,
But that's the kind of stuff like, I don't know. It's just, you're there, you saw it. It's like,
right.
what am I going to wait till tomorrow?
And you're gonna think about it.
I might as,
You might as
exactly.
well
I
just
might
get
as
it
well
off.
just do it now.
Just do it now. I know.
Exactly. I might as well just do it now. That's like the definition of how I think a lot of the time in business. It's like, well, might as well just do it now.
Well, right, because there'll be something else,
Yep.
a few minutes from now. So you got to keep going.
Do young entrepreneurs have an issue with just getting started and taking that first step?
Yeah, and I think that they're all looking for the idea,
Mm-hmm.
right? What's the idea? What's the product? What's the thing? I want to own my own business. It seems really cool. Like I can set my own hours and work for myself, pay
Yeah.
myself whatever I want.
Yeah. Yeah.
But what is it you want to do? And I always like to say, okay, find a problem
Mm-hmm.
and provide a solution. And then that solution becomes a great business idea.
Yep.
So, whether it's a tech idea or a service idea, or a physical manufactured product like mine, figure out a problem in the world
Mm-hmm.
and then try to find a solution because likely there's going to be other people having that same problem.
Yep. If you're trying to sell something, it needs to fix something an existing problem or make something better than that's already there.
Right.
Yeah, you are right. A lot of the time they don't have ideas, but also a lot of the time businesses aren't sexy.
No.
Like a marketing company is not like sexy. S- some closets can be sexy, sure, but like the sexiness of it, it's like it's just not there. A lot of the time, and like, if someone were to come to me and be like, "Hey, we're gonna start a closet company," the first thing I'm not thinking is, "Yeah, so that's like a sexy business to like start."
Yeah.
And I can't even think of a business right now that I'd be like, "Ooh, that sounds like amazing to do."
I was just going to say,
I'm kind of doing it right now.
what business is sexy? What kind of business do you think is out there? A restaurant seems sexy and fun. A bar seems sexy and fun
Oh
until you've
god.
ever worked in
I've
one.
worked in food. I would that's the opposite of sexy. It's disgusting. I don't know, like maybe tailoring,
Mm, yeah.
maybe working at like
Have you been to the Taylor Gent? Daryl Tyler?
mhm.
That place is cool.
He's coming on in a
He's
couple weeks,
he's
actually.
got it going on. He's like in Milan right now, picking out fabrics for the suits.
See, so
That's sexy.
when I'm going, that is when I'm going to Rome, I'm going to this place called the Cloth House, and I'm gonna buy some fabric and bring it back. Because apparently the fabric's a lot cheaper just directly in Italy. So I'm like, I might as well just go it, then I can bring it back and just have the suits made here.
Yeah.
But I have the fabric for way cheaper. Yeah, and then Dakota's also my buddy. He's Noble Luxury Brands. He's like, I don't know, Big Bend or Clayton and something right there, south side of Clayton. But yeah, I don't know, big suit guy. And the reason I actually I don't know started I guess getting into clothes was when we were all young starting our business. We were all like 22, 23 trying to sell business owners double our age majority of the time, if not like triple our age. So we're like, how do we not look like the guy that just is wearing athletic shorts and a t-shirt, the backwards hat, trying to sell marketing? So I was like, well, let's go get a suit. Went to Men's Warehouse, got a awful suit, fit like shit, and then I went into a deep, dark rabbit hole about clothing and everything else, and then now I sit here today, a changed man. But yeah, it was just interesting going through that rabbit hole. But yeah, that was like a big I don't know, and maybe it was only like a suit of armor for myself almost. You know what I mean? Where it just made me feel older or better, being able to
You gotta
be looked
dress
at.
the part. You
Yeah.
gotta dress the part, right? I mean,
Mhm.
you gotta have the confidence to walk into people, like you said, twice your age and sell them something and tell them why. I mean, that's where I was when I was 25. I was walking into home builders,
Yep.
looking at me like, who's this 25-year-old girl? And what
Mhm.
does she know about this?
Mhm.
So I think it's looking the part. It's, confidence. It's showing people that you got it together enough to show up dressed in a nice suit,
Yep.
right? another reason you need a custom closet to house all your nice suits.
I know. That's why I'm telling you, I'm on it. I saw Daryl's closet this morning.
Yes.
I saw it. I was like, "Whew, that's nice. I need something like that." I don't have enough. I just don't have enough space in my closet. I also just have too many clothes. I was going through it. I was like, I really need to donate some of this stuff. Do you ever go into a place and they're just hoarders, and you're
Oh,
like,
all the time.
okay,
All the time.
do you tell them the amount of space that we don't have enough space to make you something that you want for all of this stuff. You're gonna have to throw some of this stuff out.
Yes, yes. A lot of times we partner with a lot of professional organizers
Okay.
also,
Okay.
and some clients need way more than just a custom closet, right?
Mhm.
They need to declutter the space. They
Yep.
need to really go through everything that they own seriously, like
Mhm.
really go through it. And sometimes that's hard. Most people cannot do it by themselves. Even if you're the kind of person that can throw stuff away, you hang on to stuff because it's sentimental. Oh, I remember I wore this in college. Or, oh, this is from high school. Men hang on to t shirts
Yep.
and
Yep.
sweatshirts.
Mhm.
And people just are like, oh, I'm going to wear that someday.
Yeah.
The amount of women in particular that have clothes hanging in their closet with the tags on that they bought years ago
That's criminal.
and they've never worn them,
Yeah.
it's shocking. It's shocking. So, yes, we definitely have customers that need help sort of pre St. Louis Closet Company, right? They
Mhm.
need the decluttering process to happen.
Yep.
And just because we come in and build a system, if you are a hoarder, let's
Yep.
just say,
Yep.
that system may not help you. So it really is this whole psychological thing about living a more decluttered lifestyle
Mhm.
and taking the space that you do have, whether it's a small closet or a big closet, or even your mudroom or your pantry or your garage or wherever it is in your house, and deciding what things do I really use? What things do I really wear? And
Yep.
if you haven't worn something in a couple years, you're not going to wear it.
Yep. Get it.
If you
Get
haven't
rid of it.
used something, and we also have this problem in today's world with fast fashion where we're buying all this stuff online.
Mhm.
It comes like wadded up in a bag. It's cheap. We're buying stuff at big box stores, and we have too much stuff.
Yeah. I was actually think yesterday talking about how like Temu is like the downfall of the US. And someone got kind of upset with me. They were like, "Well, that's where people with not a lot of money go and they can like buy clothes and stuff." I'm like, "Come on. You don't need to go on Temu to buy that stuff. You can go to Walmart and other places." I'm like, "I don't know if you ever use the Temu app."
No, have you tried to buy something?
I only no, I only downloaded it to try it, and it's like I don't know if you play like video games at all, but it's like microtransactions. It's very like gambling. It's like addictive. Like it's like, "Oh, this product's like 90% off."
My father-in-law currently has an addiction to Temu. He
Yeah,
has this entire closet. Apparently, that's his Temu closet. I'm like, what?
oh
What are
god.
he? And he doesn't have the space
Yeah.
or the money to be doing this stuff.
Yep.
There has been a few times stuff has popped up on my Instagram, and I've been like, oh, I'm gonna look at that, and I click on it. I can't even get in. I'm
Mhm.
like, how do people even buy from? I don't get it.
It's terrible. It's a terrible product. I hate everything about Temu, but, I'm on the same boat that I think people have an issue with buying way too much stuff, especially cheap stuff like from Shein or a lot of these other companies. It's just like, I don't know.
It's true. It's true.
There's too much stuff.
Too much stuff.
Too much stuff. But I saw a funny video a couple days ago. It was like a video about Midwesterners about when they get a new shelf and like some new, boxes or whatever to put their stuff in. Everyone's like, Midwesterner just love their storage. And that's so true. I was like, I don't know what it is with Midwesterners loving their storage.
Well, okay. So in
We have a lot of stuff. It gets cold, it gets hot. We just have too
right, we
much
have a lot of
stuff.
seasons.
Yeah.
Number one, clothing. Right, we have
Hmm.
4 real seasons, but in the Midwest also we have basements and garages.
Yeah.
A lot of the coastal places don't have basements, right?
Hmm.
Because the water table is
Yep.
up. They can't have a basement. A lot of people don't have. We have a lot of attached garages. In like the newer homes, and
Hmm.
then in the older homes, even we have whole carriage houses behind houses,
Yep.
and we have attics. We seem to have more
Yes.
places to
Space. Yeah.
store stuff,
Yep.
which can be good or bad, right? It depends.
Creates
Um,
hoarding.
it is hoarding. Do you watch the Hoarders TV show?
I can't do it. I can't
Have you
do it.
ever watched any of them?
I've like seen clips and stuff from it.
Okay.
It just upsets me. I'm like, this is terrible.
Every
I'm
time
like,
I am,
this
I,
drives my anxiety through a wall. I'm like, oh my, how do you live in this?
right? It's scary. It's dangerous.
And sometimes they have bugs and stuff. They're just
Oh,
living
they have
with
way more than
like
bugs.
rodents and ugh.
Yeah,
I've
I
seen some
know.
of them. I'm like, this is terrible.
It is terrible. But my house is very organized. I've
Mhm.
always been very organized.
I could assume.
And
I don't know. Yeah.
I have this weird thing in my house where every room has to have either an empty drawer or an empty cabinet. I have to have something in the room that's totally empty, and like we can't use that. And
Interesting.
my husband is definitely much more of a junk collector than I am. He's like, I'm just gonna move my stuff. I go, oh no, that is the one space in this room
That is empty.
that is
Nothing
empty,
in it.
and we're gonna leave that empty.
Do you do that in your kitchen too?
Yeah, absolutely.
So you have like
Yeah.
one of the drawers is just empty?
Totally empty. Yeah. And like in my
Interesting.
living room, I have a dresser that has actually in my living room I have a dresser with one empty drawer and then a cabinet in my bookcases that's totally empty.
So is it just in case, or you just want
No,
a
I just want to sort of mentally know that there's like space,
interesting.
right? I just
Yeah.
like I have to have everything super organized.
Mhm.
Like you could come over right now, no expectations, didn't know you were coming, and like my closets are all organized and
I feel like younger people are missing that.
yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes it's a learned thing, and
Yeah.
maybe when they get older, like my son has his first house now with his girlfriend,
I
and
mean, college doesn't count. Everyone's dirty
college
then.
doesn't count. But
Everyone's dirty then.
I go there, and I'm like, you are such a consumer. I go, you consume everything
Yeah, yeah.
because it's just so easy, right?
Mhm.
It's just so easy. He has
Mhm.
stuff everywhere. I'm like, you guys you're gonna outgrow the house. You just moved in,
It's too easy to buy stuff now.
right?
Like even when I'm going, I'm going to Italy, I was like, I don't need a new bag, but I was looking this weekend, I was like, but this one's on sale. I was
Yeah,
like, I could use a new bag.
you could. And there's probably a coupon code too. You
And
can
I
put
did.
that
I
in
did. I
there.
bought a new bag. Then I was like, well, what needs to go inside the bag? I was like, I should get some organization,
Hmm.
bags. And then 3 hours later, I bought, a bunch of stuff for, my trip that I probably, I could argue that some of the stuff I need, but really it's more so just want, right? I
Right.
don't need it.
Right. And it's totally fine, right? I mean, I don't propose that everybody lives this life of nothingness,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
But
minimalism, that's hard to swallow.
minimalism is hard to swallow. It is. But, have a system in place so that, whether it's the one in, one out rule. Okay, I'm going to go buy a new suit.
Mhm.
Well, I've got some old suits that I haven't worn in
Oh, hell
five
no.
plus years.
Never
Let's
getting rid of any of my suits.
see. See, there we
I
go.
wear them all, though.
Okay, well, if you wear them all, that's fine.
Yeah, I wear them
Then
all.
that's great. But there's probably stuff in your closet you don't wear.
Yeah,
It's like so one in, one out. Maybe it's, you got a new suit, but you're going to get rid of an old t-shirt or something like that.
that's fair. I can do that.
Or give yourself a set time where, and this is great for kids. You're like, okay, we're going to have like family cleaning for 20 minutes.
Mhm.
Everybody go to the room and find 5 things that you don't want or you don't use anymore. Just 5 things. And everybody brings down 5 things. Okay. I mean, maybe it's a pair of socks, right?
Yep.
It doesn't have to be an important big thing. Just
Mhm.
slowly get into the habit, teach the kids when they're young, these good habits. I mean, you think about it.
I was taught bad habits. My parents just kept everything. Up until, like, the last few years, they finally started like, their basement was just full
Right.
of just shit.
And
They're
then
like, "No, you're never gonna use it."
when you moved out to there, they're like, come get your shit out of the basement.
Oh, yeah. I think I have, like, 1 box there because 'cause I'm like, "You got more storage space than I do. You could keep 1 box." But no, they would just they were just holding on to stuff from, like, childhood, like, random toys, like this old, like, table that was, like, little kid table. I'm like, "G Donate this. Get rid of this."
It's a sentimental thing, right?
Yeah.
You remember when your kids were little. Like I
Yeah.
have all
No,
their
I remember the chair. I'm like, "That chair is awesome."
yeah, the
But I was
artwork.
like, also yeah, you
Did your
never
mom keep all your artwork?
oh god, I was a terrible artist. Yeah, there's some of it.
Yeah, I have all my kids' artwork.
See, I think that's good. I think you could keep that. That's good to keep.
Well, I just read about this new company. This is a great business idea. This new company that they send you a big empty box. You
Mhm.
put all your kids' artwork in it, ship it to them, and then they have these professional cameras that shoot,
Digitize it.
and then they put it in a book for you, and they mail you back a little book with all.
Oh, they put it
Yeah,
interesting.
that's
Interesting.
nice.
I do that with business cards. I got a
Yeah.
buddy that because I just collect business cards like nobody's business. I'm like, I cannot because he actually has a good business model. He's like, "Stop collecting your business card, give it to me, I'll upload them into an Excel sheet.
Yeah, it's great. See,
Then I don't have 1,000 business cards sitting on my desk now."
it's like the custom closet company of business cards.
That's right.
Perfect.
That's
I
right.
love it.
So what
I
what
love
are
it.
what are the most important things? So obviously you do more than closets. Let's talk about closets. What's like the most important thing that someone is like the if I'm going to build a closet, here's why. This is the most important thing. Is it just or from an organization standpoint? Is it being able to hang more stuff up? To, shoe boxes? What is it?
Well, I mean, it's the functionality of the
Yeah.
closet is what's the most important.
Okay.
I mean, you want it to look nice. I mean, that's
Hmm.
great too, but you want it to be functional.
Yep.
So, you want to be able to do double hanging so that you can put your, separates on a high rod and a lower
Hmm.
rod.
Hmm.
You want to be able to have adjustable shelving so you can like adjust your shelves, closer and farther apart for different height
Sounds
shoes
amazing.
and
Yes.
boxes.
Yeah.
Um, you want to have, women want to have long hanging for dresses, men sometimes for overcoats. And then you want to have like the accessories, right? You want to have like pull out tie racks and pull out belt racks and jewelry drawers and scarf racks, and divided drawers to keep your socks and underwear and stuff all divided.
Hmm.
So I think it's the functionality of it. Some people are going for the big wow, the big beautiful boutique closets with the chandelier and the
Sure.
rugs and crystal knobs and the island and all that. And that's beautiful and great. But I feel like the functionality of a closet is probably the most number one most important thing. You want to be able to access all of your stuff. You want to be able to see all your stuff and you want to be able to, house all your stuff.
Hmm.
And a custom closet will definitely give you more space. But what it'll do, more importantly, is sort of organize all your stuff so that you can see it and use it and save time every day getting ready.
Yeah. A pet peeve of mine where I've seen where you have to go through the bathroom to get to the closet.
Mhm.
What are your thoughts on that?
Well, I don't like it.
Yeah.
I don't like it because, to me, it seems like all the steam
Well, it's just
and
like if your partner's in the bathroom, I
well,
don't want to
that's
have to
true.
go through the
Well,
bathroom to go to the closet. What
there's
the hell are we
that,
doing?
right? There's that too. But to me, it's like, and a lot of times now, the newer homes
Hmm.
are, there's not even a closet door.
Yeah.
It's just part of the bathroom and it's an extension. You just walk through. And I'm
Yep.
always like, this is weird to me.
I I think I'm a big fan of like if you have the space, obviously, like what I don't want the toilet just out. Put it in a little
Oh,
closet.
the little room with the
Yes.
door. Yeah.
Yes.
I
What it
agree. I
what
agree.
ugh.
I
And
agree.
like I watch, obviously, like many people, I watch some of the, YouTube channels, like them going over like massive homes, right? And that's like one thing I see is just what is with these bathrooms and closets? I'm like, what the hell is going on? Some are amazing, and some are like, you're gonna pay $30 million for this house with that? Like that is terrible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think that the idea is you go to we just talked about it earlier, where the first two places you go in the morning, the
Hmm.
bathroom and your closet. So if
Hmm.
you sort of make that a little easier, um, but I mean, I don't know, maybe people don't care if they're walking through the bathroom with other people in there. I don't know.
I just think they can't care at that point.
I have no choice.
Yeah, you don't have a choice.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a fan of that design idea, but me, once again, it goes back to more practicality, like
Hmm.
the steam from the bathroom. Like, if you like walk out of the bathroom from a shower and you're getting like your wet feet and your wet towels into your closet, and I don't know. I mean, it's not good for your clothes.
It's true. It's true. I'm curious when it comes to steaming closets. Is this a thing that people put in their closets?
Those like little, they look like a refrigerator
Hmm.
kind of, and then
Hmm.
you put your clothes in and they
Yeah, and it
steam them.
steams them. Yeah.
I have yet to see one installed in St. Louis. That
Interesting.
doesn't mean there hasn't been one that I
Yeah.
haven't seen, but they're kind of a trendy
Yeah.
thing, and I mean they take up a lot of space,
Yeah.
a lot of space.
That's true. Yeah.
And I just don't know how, once again, functional that is. I'm sure that several of them exist somewhere. I have not seen them. We are seeing a lot of people installing washers and dryers in their closets. That's
In-
becoming a really big deal.
Interesting.
We,
Makes sense.
we do that a lot. We're right. That's where your laundry is, right?
But also, then you got to have connections and stuff for your laundry. Probably. I mean, how is it? I feel like that's going to be loud though at some point. I guess it depends on how big your closet is, how big your house is.
Yeah. I mean, not any louder than maybe, down the hall in your laundry room. Unless like me, I have a dryer right now with a bad belt, so
Oh
it's
God.
really loud.
Yeah.
It's
Yep.
really loud. Um, but like my daughter is living in these new high-rise apartments in Dallas, and the washer and dryer are in the closet, in every unit in the whole place.
I mean, it makes sense.
Right. Well, it makes sense if it's
Your clothes
just
are right there.
your clothes are, but what about, a family? It doesn't make sense if it's a family. Like, you don't want like all your kids' dirty laundry being drug into your closet.
That's
So
true.
maybe this is a secondary washer and dryer just for your stuff.
That sounds amazing.
Laundry chutes are the way to go. They don't build them anymore in
My
new
my
homes.
grandma's house had a laundry chute.
Did you climb in it?
So fun.
Did you climb in it and up and down it?
I didn't. I always threw stuff in there though.
Oh.
I didn't even think about climbing in it.
Oh, yeah, when you're little, you can get in there and you kind of scale them up and
I
down.
didn't even think about. I was a menace as a child, and I didn't think about that at all. How did I not think about that? Damn it!
I think that they may.
I missed
I
out on
actually
that.
don't see them
My
built.
grandma would also beat my ass if I was
If
in
you would
there.
have done
So,
that.
oh yeah, oh yeah. She's hard. She was hard school Italian, so she would have not been happy.
I don't see them in new homes anymore.
No, they don't build
I
them
don't think they
anymore.
build them anymore, but
No.
we have one. I live in a 120-year-old house in Kirkwood, and it goes from the third floor all the way down to the laundry room, and it's heaven. It's heaven. The problem with it is, though,
Does anything get stuck?
um, no, I mean, it's big enough
Yeah.
that I mean, sometimes if you throw down like all the sheets at
Mhm.
once, they take a little bit of
Yeah.
time to go down, and
Yeah.
then you hear it,
Yeah.
woof, and it hits the bottom. Um, the problem with the laundry chute is when you tell kids to go clean up the room, everything goes down the laundry chute, whether it's dirty or not. Everything. So I think you wind up doing more laundry,
Yeah.
but it is really, really nice. Really nice to have a laundry chute.
That makes sense. They probably just don't build it anymore because it's just more money.
Well, I bet
Or they just don't want to
maybe it's
design
a
around a
safety
laundry
issue.
chute
Maybe it's a safety issue.
for like fire or something.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
Interesting. So you grew up in Kirkwood, still live there?
I grew up in Kirkwood.
What's with Kirkwoodians? Explain this to
I
me.
know.
What's up with you guys?
We're weird, right? We
Yeah.
stay there and we don't like Webster people.
Yeah, so
Except for Peyton went to Webster and we love Peyton.
Webster's great. I love the food.
I know
The restaurants are
Webster
great.
is amazing. I shouldn't say that on anything.
Clip it.
I do clip it. I do love Webster, but when you go to Kirkwood High, and
Mhm.
same thing when you go to Webster High,
Mhm.
I mean, we hated each other. That Turkey Day football rivalry thing,
Yeah.
it's real.
Yeah.
It is real. Like even still today, I don't like the color orange. I mean, and I have friends that went to Webster who don't like the color red. I think it's just a St. Louis thing, right?
Mhm.
Where'd you go to high school and all that? And Kirkwood is just, I don't know. It's like people grow up there, they leave for a little bit, and it seems like they all come back.
Yeah.
And Kirkwood's kind of getting hot right now. I mean,
feel like
it's
it's been
going
hot
through,
for a couple years.
yeah, it's been going through this resurgence. We have all these great restaurants. They're building a lot of new, bigger homes. It's great.
Mhm.
It's a great town for families. It's very walkable.
No, it's a good spot.
Yeah, I love it. I
It's a
love
good
Kirkwood.
spot. I like it a lot. Uh, I think it's interesting how much it's really. I feel like it happened a little bit. Started happening a little bit before COVID,
Yes.
and then COVID kind of everyone was like, "Well, Kirkwood actually seems like a really good spot." And then now you have, I mean, new homes going up everywhere all over Kirkwood.
Everywhere.
But I love some of the old homes. I'm like, I'd take one of the old ones.
Yeah, the old home.
Give me the smaller one.
We've got some old cool houses.
Yeah.
Our house is old, really old. It's on the National Registry of
Really?
old houses. Yeah, it's cool.
Interesting. So you have to. So if you do like any, is it where like you have to put a specific roof on it?
No,
Oh, okay, so you don't have to.
no.
Do you have to like maintain anything historically?
It's not. I don't think it's at that level.
Okay.
But we are in the historical district of
Okay.
Kirkwood.
So you can't tear
So-
it down or anything.
Correct. Yeah,
Okay.
everything has to still go through. Big things have to go through design and review
Hmm.
with the city of Kirkwood to make sure. But it's not as strict as there's some levels of historic certification that you can't do a thing.
Got it.
Ours is not like that. But the people we bought the house from 22 years ago, maintained it impeccably. It was just incredible shape. And he really went out of his way to make sure all the original woodwork and the
Nice.
hardware on the doors and the windows and everything, stayed in really great working shape.
Mm-hmm.
And my husband and I both grew up in old homes, and we love old homes. He grew up in Clayton. I grew up in Kirkwood in an old home. And so
Mm-hmm.
we love that about our house. Some people don't want an old house for anything. They want the brand new builds.
If you just watch YouTube and watch inspectors go around to new home builds, I'm like, I don't know. I'd almost like have to be in some sort of GC capability of if I'm building my own place.
Yeah, well, you have to,
I'd be worried.
pick a good builder.
Yeah, that's true. I wouldn't want to go with a McBride home.
Well,
Just kidding.
We do closets in McBride
I'm
homes
just
all
I'm
the
just
time.
I'm just joking. Big builders are tough. It's just tough business. I would hate to be building it. I have a lot of friends that built homes like over the last like starting in like 21, and then by the time they're done, the whole they had to get like an additional second mortgage because they couldn't have like the price of everything just kept increasing.
Yeah, during COVID. Well, and now
So
we
that
have the tariff thing
yeah.
threatening a lot of the building
How's
supplies.
that affecting your guys' materials?
Knock on wood, it has not affected it yet. However, we get some of our wood from Canada
Mm-hmm.
and we get a lot of the hardware from Germany.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm assuming a lot of it's made in China.
Right.
We buy from distributors in the United States, but I think a lot of it comes from overseas.
Sure.
Um, what we did in COVID and what we did this time with sort of the threat of this is we ordered a whole year's worth of supply of wood and hardware
Smart.
at the old pricing.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just so uncertain right now what's going to happen. It's a day by day,
Yep.
right? It's literally a day by day. Nobody knows what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't live on remember, I'm that organized person who was
Yeah.
organizing my closet in middle school.
That's the biggest
I
complaint with the tariffs.
Yeah.
We don't know what the hell's going on.
We don't know, and it's
Yeah.
different every day. So
Mhm.
I wanted some sense of normalcy, which is the same thing I did in COVID. All that supply chain stuff. I was like, well, this is crazy. I'm just going to order enough to get us through a year
Mm-hmm.
and then figure it out then,
Yep.
right? And hopefully we can get through this bumpy road. So that's what we've done. None of our prices have yet to go up because of tariffs, but I think it's because the U.S. distributors had enough in the United States.
Right.
So I'm assuming it's going to be coming.
Yep.
But we're good for the next year.
So, when I was like with the whole wildfire thing, like in California and stuff, I was actually doing some research on like why we get so much wood from Canada when we have, like, the U.S. is 75% forest, apparently. Like, out of our entire 75% is technically forest. Why is it that we get so much wood from Canada? I don't know if you know that answer.
I don't know that answer, but I know for 20 years of my business, I bought all of my material, all of my wood from mills down in the South.
Mm-hmm.
And within the last 5+ years, every one of them is closed.
Really?
I mean, there's gone. You can buy wood right now from Vietnam
Mm-hmm.
significantly less expensive than you can buy wood from Georgia.
It's ridiculous.
They can make it and
Yeah.
ship it over on a boat, get it through customs, and then truck it to me cheaper than we don't buy our wood from Vietnam, but
Sure.
my supplier sells wood from
Yeah.
Vietnam.
Yeah.
And I just don't understand. So these mills they couldn't compete. So they're closing. And, the U.S. only has what, 15 maybe steel mills left in the
Mhm.
United States.
Mm-hmm.
They just don't exist.
Yep.
So they can't. It's great to say we want jobs in America. And
Mhm.
I would love more jobs in America. That's great.
Yep.
It's just that it's not reasonable to think that the 15 steel plants are going to now all of a sudden tomorrow start making every single bit of steel needed for automobiles and
Mm-hmm.
home building and, my product,
Yep.
closet rods and screws and shelf pegs. They have to come from somewhere.
Yep.
So it's a very, I don't like to get political, but it's very frustrating as a small business owner.
Yeah.
Because we just don't know what
Mhm.
to expect. We don't know how to plan. Even if you just came out and said, okay, tariffs on this, this, and this is what it is, you're just going to like, at least then I could plan for that.
Right.
But I can't make any
But if it's
predictions.
one thing and then
or,
different the next.
Right. Forecasts or,
Yep.
what are you going to do in sales this year? Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I don't even know what we're going to do because.
Have you been seeing consumer spending slow down?
Knock on wood.
Yeah.
Not yet.
Not yet.
But I have seen consumers once again be concerned about the uncertainty. Like,
Mm.
should we do this? Should we not? The thing about my product, you know, an average closet is $1,500.
Mm-hmm.
The average walk-in closet is maybe $5,000. So it's not like a $50,000 to $100,000 purchase, right?
Sure.
So it's a little bit more doable. We're quick. We're in and out in a day. So you don't have your house torn up. And, when interest rates are high and people are not selling houses,
Mm-hmm.
they need to sort of make the spaces that they're in work.
Yep.
When interest rates are low and people are selling houses, well, then people want to do the closets in their new homes. So we sort of work well on both sides of the equation of interest rates and housing.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not so expensive that, the economic upturns and downturns make that big of a difference.
Yeah.
And we're once again in the Midwest where you said we have a lot of storage.
Mm-hmm.
We are very conservative, right? So we don't have the super high peaks and the super low lows that a lot of the coasts have.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of just stay steady with most of our purchasing.
Interesting.
At least as a small business owner doing home improvements, that's how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Because I know a lot of closet company owners around the country, and I mean they'll have busts and booms. Like I know the closet company owner in Vegas, and I mean when things are up, they're going crazy. When things are down, they're almost out of business.
Yeah. Yep.
It's just crazy, and we're just sort of slow and steady.
Mm-hmm. Hey, I'd rather be that than up and down all the time and worrying about, what we talked about earlier. So that makes sense. I'd always be curious about what a closet would cost because now you talk to getting about like your, kitchen remodeled. Some of these people are like, you're not going to be able to use your kitchen for 2 months and it's
Or more.
75 grand or like 100 grand.
Or more, right.
And a
Exactly.
bathroom now is like minimum 30. I'm like, oh my God.
Right. So
It's
if you can do a
insane.
closet
Right.
one day, 5,000. Now, there are plenty of closets that are $500,
Mm-hmm.
and there's plenty of closets that are 10 to 15,000, right? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so everything's custom though, so we can sort of really work within the space and the budget that you have. So
I wonder how you'd fix my parents' closet. Because it's just too small, but it's a walk-in. It's like the old school walk-in in
yeah,
the 90s where you walk in and just right, left. I don't even think it's as big as mine that I have
yeah,
at my apartment.
yeah, it would be a great gift. You should give them that for
It's actually not a bad idea.
the holidays.
It's not a bad idea.
Did you know that we did Nelly's closet at a studio?
Really?
Yeah,
That's fun.
yeah, it's on my Instagram.
I'll have to check it
You
out.
need to check it out. It's on St. Louis Closet Company's Instagram.
Okay.
So, this is the greatest story ever. So, he has a studio here in St. Louis where they sort of, house all their stuff for tours and
Yep.
their clothing for all their dancers. And I think like a lot of the stuff he wears on tour. And they just have it on rolling racks and in boxes. And like every time they go on tour, it's like, guess what? It's like packing, right? If you're not organized in your closet, you try to pack, you don't know where stuff is.
Mm-hmm.
So they're redoing his whole studio. And they decided they were going to do this. I don't even want to call it a room. It's sort of like multiple connecting rooms into a
Interesting.
closet. And they had called a franchise. That was not, they're in St. Louis, but they're not locally owned. And they had gotten a bid. And then he was driving down the road one day and pulled up next to one of my vans and was like, whoa, homegrown, St. Louis, called us. I went out there, my idol, Nelly, my idol for 25 years. And we designed it and we
Country
did it.
Grammar album is amazing.
It's amazing. I know. So anyway, so we did the whole studio. It turned out amazing.
What square feet are we talking about? How much room are we talking about here?
It is big. I mean,
Big?
we did like a 50-foot wall of just shoe shelves.
Damn. Okay.
And then 2 really large rooms, bigger than this room we're in here today. 2 of those for hanging and shelving and storage and stuff.
I'll bet that experience was fun.
It was fun. And then have you met Nelly?
I have not,
You need
no.
to have Nelly on the podcast.
That would be a good guess.
Okay, he is the nicest, kindest, generous person ever. So part of the deal is I get to take a picture of you in the closet, right? I mean, I gave him a little bit of a discount, but I want a picture.
Sure.
And I was like, am I going to really get the picture? So Peyton, my marketing person over here, we were like, we're going to get there early. We're going to have all set up because he's going to come in and out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I was afraid we weren't even going to get one picture.
Yep.
We were there. So we get there early. He opens the door. Like a
Nice.
half hour, he meets us. He gives me a hug. He's like, oh my God. He's like, I've been thinking about it. He says, we need to do like an HGTV reveal. And he's like, you're going to come in and I'm going to open the door and we're going to videotape it. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to walk through. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, okay. And he's like, and I want you in everything. I go, no, I just wanted a picture of you. He's like, no, I want you in all the pictures. And we did a video and he's like, all right, we need to do that again. He spent 2 hours with us.
What a badass.
And then when we were done, he toured my photographer, my videographer, Peyton and I around his whole studio. He showed us everything, where they write the songs. He showed us all of his awards. I mean, he's busy.
Yeah.
Right? He literally was leaving the next day to go to California because he just won some big award, like 25 years for country grammar.
Yep.
And then the next day he was leaving to fly to Australia for his world tour kickoff.
I didn't know he was touring.
Yeah, he's touring. Yeah, he was in Australia.
Has he made any new music lately?
Um,
I don't even know. I'd have to
I
look.
know he married Ashante, and she's got a lot of great music too.
They're married?
Yeah, they're married and they have a baby.
Ooh, she was good looking back in the day. I'm sure she still
She's
is now.
still very good
I'm
looking.
sure she
So
still
is
is now.
he. They're both good looking. They are a great couple. Anyway, so I mean, when you think about people that are this famous
Mm-hmm.
and you think about this lowly little old closet girl,
Yep. Yep.
and here he was totally acting like we were, so important.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a big deal to me.
I don't think I've ever heard. I haven't heard bad things about Nelly, but I don't think I've ever heard like people say he's like a good guy. Actually, I don't think I know many people that have met him. Probably is the case.
Well, I think that he cares very much about St. Louis.
Yeah.
And he wears St. Louis on his back everywhere he
Yep.
goes.
He's for sure.
He is good for St. Louis. But these are, I think, the kind of ways by supporting St. Louis businesses, which is always important to me. But when you have somebody that famous who's willing to go out of their way, because, they could have bought from anybody, right?
Yep.
And it was important to him to support St. Louis. And it was, huge to me. And I was like, oh, you come to my house and I'll have a party and sing a song. And he's like, you can't afford that.
He's like 100,000 for one song.
For one song.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, now he's gone up and down. He had like a country album come out. That was really good.
I'm not a massive country person, sadly.
Well, but it's a good mix of
Nelly. I'll have to turn it on.
Yeah.
Grills was always good. Used to listen to that song all the time. Nelly has so many good songs.
So many good songs.
It's
but
crazy.
country grammar still.
So he used to, I think, live in Eureka. Maybe he still does. I don't know. But he used to drive. He always used to be in Eureka, and that's where I went to high school. So I was always down there. He had an Escalade that was just tinted out and had like the receiver on top for like internet or whatever it was. I mean, we're talking like 2011.
Before the internet.
Right. Right. Before any, like we were all still had like shitty phones. Like we didn't even, it was like I think Apple iPhone 2 was out or something like that. Right. And you always knew it was him because he had that thing on the top of his Escalade.
The receiver.
Yeah. Always like, Nelly.
Yeah.
Always just yelled at him.
Well, I'm a 59-year-old woman.
Mm-hmm.
Mom, tired, old, small business owner. And I think he's the coolest person ever. And I can't tell you how impressed I was with how well he treated me and my business. He did the same with my installers. He came out, he took pictures with them. He told them they were doing a great job. He didn't have to do any of that.
That's awesome.
And he was amazing.
I don't know why I would never. I just don't expect that from anyone. You know what I mean?
I know.
And that's why it's so great.
Yeah. It was really great.
Shout out Nelly. I'm gonna go once I leave. I'm definitely gonna go turn on probably St. Louis or something, or St. Louis. Gotta turn on a Nelly song after this.
Absolutely.
So before we get out of here, tell the people if they're looking for a closet company or if they're looking for storage or pantry or anything else you do, why should they use St. Louis Closet?
Well, I mean,
besides everything we talked about.
Besides everything we talked about. Locally owned.
Mm-hmm.
I founded the business 34 years ago. I'm still there every day. I care. And And even though your friend's company with the reviews, go check out our reviews.
Mhm.
Really, really proud of those. Um, we have, I think, the best product in the entire United States, much less St. Louis. Our service is unbelievable. I have 43 of the most amazing employees ever, and my average employee has been with me for over 25 years. That says a lot about
It
small business.
absolutely it does.
The best employees ever. Check out our website. We offer free estimates, which is nice because we can come out to your house, your parents' house. We'll measure the space, we'll inventory the clothes, we'll give them a design, and we do all that for free.
Mhm.
And my designers slash sales staff, they're they're not high pressure. They're not the vacuum cleaner
Yep.
salesperson that's not
Yep.
going to leave your house.
Yep.
You're going to love working with them. We have a 30,000 square foot building in Maplewood where we manufacture everything, and we have a big showroom so you can come see the product. To me, there's no choice.
Yep.
I think we're hands down the best.
I agree. Before I even I don't remember who it was, but I was down that way probably 10, 15, maybe even 20 years ago. And I just remember going by before you guys remodeled. So I don't know when you guys would have remodeled that spot.
We
Like,
we bought that building in 2007.
so you guys redid like some of the windows and stuff.
We
What in
redid
the last 10 years?
we did the entire building in 2007.
So it would have been before that.
Okay.
But I don't know who I was with. They're like, if you ever need a closet, St. Louis Closet Company. I don't know why I
Really?
remember
I
that.
love that.
I swear to
Who
God.
was that?
I
I
have
need to find
no
out.
idea. I think it was it might have been I don't know. Maybe it was it might have been my aunt because she's a big antique person. You know, they
Okay.
have the antique places right across
Yeah.
right down the street from you off Big Ben. So maybe it would have been my aunt. She was a big designer. Um who knows? But anyways.
Well, thanks to your aunt.
Yes.
I appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me. This has been great.
Absolutely. We had a good conversation. Glad to represent a fellow local business owner. As we talk about on this podcast all the time, supporting local is super important. All right. That's all the time we have for today. However, we'll be back next week with another episode, another guest, and of course, more of myself. Please like, review, subscribe, leave a comment. We appreciate everyone's support. And of course, as always, if you're looking for a podcast studio, if you're looking to record a podcast, or if you're looking to have help clipping that and distributing that podcast, you can go to halfcoaststudios.com. I'm sitting in the studio right now. And of course, if you're looking for the best damn marketing company on the planet, visit us at vi.media. Thank you all, and we'll see you next week.